we've got the brand new DSLR camera from Sony, the Sony Alpha 7R. Take a look at its specs first. Meet the all-new Sony Alpha 7R. And it's about time Sony came up with a good quality DSLR. Sony Alpha 7R is the lightest interchangeable lens camera with a full frame. It boasts of a 35mm full frame sensor with 36.4 megapixel density. You also get Wi-Fi and NFC for connectivity and sharing images on the go. To top it all, it has a magnesium alloy skeleton and it's a masterpiece when it comes to design integrated with technology. Sony Alpha 7R is priced at Rs 1,24,990. Sure, it is expensive, but is it worth the money? Okay, those were the specs on the new Sony Alpha 7R, and now it's time for a review, and we are joined by Ankit Gupta, who gets us all the lowdown on the new Sony Alpha 7R.
Well, Siddharth, that's right. Let me introduce you to my new best friend, the Sony Alpha 7R. This is a camera which is perhaps the best discovery of 2013, and trust me, it's going to last you for a very, very long time. I recently was on a trip to Poland, and this was the camera that I took along with me just to see how exactly will it work in these freezing weather conditions. When we landed in Warsaw, it was -4, and while traveling, we went to -12. Not even for a second did this camera lag, freeze, anything of the sort which normally happens in sub-zero temperatures. The other amazing thing with this camera is the robust magnesium alloy body. This camera is super sturdy. There was a moment in my trip where I was on a snowmobile, and because of my lack of coordination, I was flung into 6 feet of snow. The thing was that I had this camera around my neck. I flew and fell into snow. More than anything else, I was worried that I would have broken the lens or something would have happened. Nothing. Nothing at all. Not even so much as a scratch on the camera. Now that is impressive. Sure, this is an expensive piece of device and it costs a lot of money, but trust me, it is worth it. Now the other important thing about this camera is there are two kinds of auto modes. Now for a lot of people who are not professional photographers but like taking pictures like I am, auto mode comes to the rescue mostly. There are two auto modes in this camera. One is a superior auto mode and an intelligent auto mode. One of the most difficult things when you are on a trip is to take pictures in the dark. Now Sony Alpha 7R does not have an inbuilt flash. There is no flash on the body. So this was going to be a big challenge. In Poland, it is dark about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It is really dark and you cannot take any pictures if you don't have a flash. Or so that I thought. Sony Alpha 7R has something called DRO, D-Range Optimizer, which actually looks at the amount of shadow and backlight that you've got in front of an object. It analyzes all of that and gives you a natural looking picture even in the dark without any flash. I was taking pictures of a lot of Christmas trees in the dark night, and as you can see, there is very little noise, there's very little graininess to it. The pictures are just perfect. Now, of course, all DSLRs can take pictures in the dark, but to get this kind of a result on an auto mode is outstanding. Some of the most amazing things with this camera are that it is an extremely ergonomic camera. The grip is really robust, it's compact, it does not weigh too much. Sony Alpha 7R packs in a solid 36.4 megapixels, and trust me, you don't need more than that. And it is a full frame camera giving you absolutely extraordinary pictures. The other two things I really like about this camera, and I read a lot that a lot of people didn't like it, is the shutter sound. The shutter sound is a bit louder than any other camera in the market at the moment, but trust me, I really like this sound. I think it is one of the most beautiful sounds you hear when you're taking a picture. And everybody else who's around you turns around to look who exactly is taking these pictures, so that's one added incentive. Other than that, the last thing is the inbuilt Wi-Fi with Sony Alpha 7R. The Wi-Fi is seamless. You can automatically, once you connect your phone or any other device with this camera, you can seamlessly send pictures into your phone or your computer and automatically upload them to Facebook, which is why we take a lot of pictures these days, don't we? One of the biggest problems with the Sony Alpha series is the lenses. I use the Sony Alpha 7R with a 2870 lens. what I would have really liked is a choice from a bigger ecosystem of lenses to choose the perfect lens for the perfect kind of picture. So in the end, should you buy the Sony Alpha 7R? Yes, absolutely. Yes, it is super expensive. Yes, it is fantastic. This is the camera that you want to take on all of your holidays and everyday life to take stunning pictures.
Okay, I completely agree with Ankit that Sony Alpha 7R is the best DSLR camera to come out in 2013. And sure, it is expensive because good things don't come cheap at all.